Maverick 100.9. It's Cordless. And all throughout the first week of the new year, we interview Aggieland artists. Well, I have a unique Aggieland artist with a humongous tie to Texas country music, but you would also know him as a hip hop artist named I Am 2G. It is Alan Green with me. Hi.
Hey, what's going on, Corliss?
It's going so good. First off, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
I know it has been a busy one for you. Now, we're going to try and backtrack this and explain who 2G is. Now, of course, I met you just as Alan Green. I think at the time you were Bree Bagwell's drummer.
Yes, I was.
And you have worked for numerous Texas country artists, Sam Briggs, currently with John Wolfe. Your list of Texas country artists that you've worked for goes beyond. And I'm curious how you even got into it.
Well, I'll tell you. Wow, I'm listening. I hear my kids in the living room. So I met Cody Johnson's guys back when I was playing with a group by the name of the Powell Brothers.
Oh, I love the Powell Brothers. Okay, yes.
As they introduced me, I guess Cody caught wind of me being in the Bryan College Station area. So after the show, he says, "Hey, man, I hear you're from Bryan College Station." Well, he said College Station, but
yeah,
I'm from Bryan.
Yes, born and raised. You are a hometown boy.
Yeah. And then he says, "Yeah, dude, half of my band lives there." And this was back in like early 2017, I believe. So
okay.
we exchanged information. He hooked me up with his drummer, Miles Stone, who maybe hit me up 6 months after we met and was like, "Hey, by the way, are you still drumming?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got an opportunity for you and I need to know if you could do it." My friend Bree Bagwell her drummer put his 2 weeks in, and his name is Marshall Black, the nephew of legendary Clint Black. Yeah. So I didn't know this at the time. I was still kind of oblivious to the scene and who was who. I mean, I had just met Kojo and didn't even know who he had overalls on. I remember that.
I didn't even know who he was.
OG Kojo with the red tour bus. You know what I'm saying? So,
remember those days.
And here I am, like this, just the church drummer that came out into the scene. I had no idea who I was talking to. I was just like, "Oh, wow, these guys give their drummer a drum solo with a light show." So I was just stoked about everything. We're in Alpine, Texas. So that's how I got in the scene. I can't take credit because those guys were the ones that, I don't want to say discovered me, but they accelerated everything for me. They're like, "Hey, it's this guy in Bryan College Station, and the guy can play. You should pick him up." And at the time, Bree Bagwell was having a van call in Snook, Texas, which is 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh. It's funny. I've been friends with you all these years, and I never knew that story. And, you are the go-to guy. Now, this is what you and I have talked about before. Anything that anybody needs, it seems like you're always there in the forefront. And the best example I have is my friend Morgan Ashley. You've been mentoring country artists as well. You mentored their bands. You do so much. Is it for the love of country music? Is it just the love of your community? What kind of brings out what you share in others?
Yeah, it's people. I'm a people person. I don't care if you play polka. If I like you, I'm going to find out how to do it, and I'm going to get involved. With her, it was just, I liked her. I liked her music and her passion. I could tell that she was like me, since I am an artist, that she has some great music, but she needed a push. So when we started dealing with each other more regularly, I would play shows with her. I would say, "Hey, you should cut a record. You should cut a record." And then one day we finally went in the studio and I think we cut 5 songs.
Yeah.
And that was, for me, I was stoked because I don't get to play on a lot of records. Because I'm kind of still new in that world. But in the world, I was a studio drummer before I was even on the road. So I appreciated her for giving me the opportunity to even just get back in the studio. And then I got to meet Greg Malden, who from Malden Productions. got to meet the legend Milo Deering, who
Yes.
played with the Eagles and so many people. He's such a legend, multi instrumentalist. So yeah, it's people for me. It's never about the style of music. I've played metal, I've alternative rock, I've played jazz, I've played gospel, I've played CCM, country. I've even played like old school country, like Waylon, and Johnny Cash. I've played. I met a band on Craigslist one time that was Zydeco band.
That is my heart. Oh yes.
So, but when I met them in person, I never thought like, man, I shouldn't be playing with these guys. It was like, dude, I love hanging with these dudes. Available, I'm gonna rock with them. That's why I think to this day, even though I do stay pretty busy, people never stop calling because anybody I've ever played with, they get the 100% me. I don't do anything and once I feel like somebody's a safe place as a person, like this is a really good person, then we become friends. Yeah. It's not just because friendships allow me to go play with you on my day off.
Yes.
It's like, hey, if you don't have this much money, I ain't coming. And I'm never that type of person. I've always told people like, hey, if I'm free, we can work it in the budget somehow. I'll come out, I'll play, and we'll have a good time. So,
well, and that's a good note on we get to do what we love. So we're typically pretty excited to just get any gig whatsoever. And I love that you touched on all the music that you've played, because I've always felt like that's the connection with you and I. That's, I live in this world of Texas country music. So people always assume that is just my ballywhack. That is what I do, and that's it. Not true at all. Not even close to true. I have been a lover of so many genres of music for so long. And that was grilled in me as a child. Like, you just listen to everything, So, I kind of want to talk about your hip hop career as well. Because you've worked backwards. Like you said, you were just a drummer at a church. Then you went straight into country music. Now you have started developing this own solo career as you, the real you. And so what finally made you make that decision?
So I'm like the mystery guy. No, people are like, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. Well, I was an artist in high school. I was actually my high school senior prom, I was the guest performer.
Oh my God.
Right? So first of all, I didn't even wear a suit to high school. I went in best dressed. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Just hands down, Alan is always best dressed, period.
I showed up 45 minutes before I was supposed to perform. I performed 3 songs, which was probably arguably maybe a 10 or 15-minute set at my high school senior prom. So when I came out, they were like, we got a special guest. Everybody probably thought it was going to be some, big artist or whoever. And then I came out and everybody was like, yo, I thought that dude was a basketball player. And I'm not nervous, but I'm like, man, nobody's ever even heard these songs. So it's not like they're going to be able to sing along.
Yeah.
But I went out there and rocked it, If it was up to me, if I could go back, obviously I would have released those songs before I performed. But everybody was so in tune because they didn't have no idea what was going on, right? So to answer your question, I mean, I started like a long time ago. And I was just like, it was on the side. It was always a back burner thing. I was a producer. I wasn't an artist. And then nobody in my town is good right now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of rapping about stuff I can't say on air. So I was like,
no, I'm with you. I'm totally tracking. As a hip hop listener, I am tracking.
Young and like not even into that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, well, I don't want to put music out there that gives off a certain image. My grandfather is a bishop in the church, like a big religious figure, right?
You're a father,
Yeah, father. Now, I mean, you could just make a explicit version and an edited version and call it a day.
Usually it's the other way around.
But yeah, I started very early, and I think the drumming even then, back in, everybody was so locked in for my sports career because I was like very talented. God blessed me to just do some cool things sports wise. Nobody knew I was drumming unless they really knew me. I was drumming since I was a baby, though. So the hip hop career jumped off recently because COVID. House, and I'm sitting in this room right here that I'm zooming you from, and I'm like, man, I need to do something. And I go on my computer and I have hundreds of songs, hundreds. And I'm doing it myself, recording myself. And what I ended up doing was getting on YouTube, just sharpening up my mixing and mastering skills, resharpening some things I learned in audio. You know, I went to audio programs and got certificates and stuff. And I said, man, I'm gonna do an album, right? So I'm in like phase that album. I'm like 90% done, but yeah, that's kind of how I was like, you know what? I was given the name 2G by a fellow musician back in 2013, and I was like, I need to use that for me.
Yeah,
kind of how we got here with the whole I am 2G, which means I am $2,000. The word on the street is I'm worth $2,000 a night on drums.
That's hilarious. I was thinking like you're $2,000 compared to other people, which would also describe you accurately. Your kindness is outrageous. I mean, seriously, you are one of those people where being your friend, I don't feel like I deserve you. You are so grand in that manner. And, you know, I went to your birthday party recently and I went up to your VIP section. And I slowly looked around at just the different people that were there all in one place that you don't typically see congregating. And it was just so much love for one person that brought us all together. And I had to note what it's like to be in your presence. It really is grand.
I really appreciate that. I second that because it was almost like a high school reunion for me.
Yeah.
Family reunion for me. Then I got, owners of big construction companies. Then I got John Christian from Christian Distributors.
Yes.
And I'm just like, wow, all these people.
There's poets and there's radio personality. I mean, you just spew this type of friendship that everybody wants to be a part of. And maybe it is the music. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's because you can switch to anything and be a lover and an appreciator of everything, especially when the tone has been set, especially these past couple years of that's not real, that's not this, that's not that. I've never been a believer in that. I believe what makes you feel good makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be more complicated. You can choose your music.
Very simple.
Which is why, even here on Maverick, we're here talking with a hip hop artist who has a humongous hand in Texas country. As a matter of fact, he's probably part of the creation of the Texas country that y'all love. And he is local. He has been here in our community his whole life. And Alan, we absolutely love you. Back on your drumming, Alan is so respected as a drummer and just a human in our community that he was actually named Texas Country Music Association's Drummer of the Year this year at the TCMAs in November. So super cool. Even your sponsors came out to celebrate that as well. You've got a seltzer under your belt now.
Yeah. The funny thing about that, I really didn't start drinking until I was 26. A few years ago.
I feel that.
I'm aged, but a few years ago, I started drinking. And I've always heard horror stories about, I don't drink anymore, which I totally love and support. I love that so much. But I didn't grow up drinking. You know what I mean? I don't have oh man, I got to stop drinking. I don't have that story. So when I eased into it, it was red wine.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but a friend of mine put me on some White Claws and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll drink some. Nothing against White Claw.
Right.
I'll drink some, but I only wanted the lime flavor.
Yeah.
I didn't want the,
Black cherry was mine of choice when those came out.
Yeah, I like black cherry. It was those two. And then they had a lemon one, I think, that I was decent with. But a friend of mine named Drizzy, and if you ever hear me say Drizzy, I am not talking about Drake. I'm talking about and Drizzy. She's so cool. She's my family. She calls me, she said, bro, This is literally how she talks to me. Bro, I got an opportunity for you with this company. They just came into my store. And I said, okay. She was like, it's this brand called Mighty Swell. They have spiked seltzers. And I said, okay, don't really drink seltzers unless I'm just socially in a room with some people that's popped off. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll have one. And she said, nah, look, it's a new company. You could become like a brand ambassador. I said, well, if I don't like it, what's the point of me repping the brand? So I was like, you know what? I'll talk to them. She was like, yeah, they're going to call you tomorrow. So I'm like, yeah, okay. They actually called me or texted, I don't remember, but they hit me up and they said, hey, we're Mighty Swell. We heard all this and this about you. We want to like meet up with you and maybe talk. I said, okay. Mind you, I'm not into the whole being an influencer thing. That's not.
But I know, but it happens so naturally because it happens with me in radio as well. I get it. Yeah. And I'm not, though. I'm just some weird normal girl that lives in College Station. So, yeah, I feel you.
I set up a meeting with them. I drive down to Austin and it's four women. And they're just in this small, almost cubicle style office. Not huge at all, right? It looked like they were like, you know, bottling up their self and selling it on the street. Like it was not a corporation vibe. It was like, hey, we're a startup. It was literally out. And I said, okay. And they were so sweet, so nice to me. And they were like, shall we try some seltzers? And I'm thinking like, man, I hope these are good because these people are really nice. Right? And the first thing she says was, oh, we don't have any that are chilled. They're all hot. So I was like, if I like them hot, they got to be good. So I tried. The blackberry was the first one I tried. Then I went over to peach. And then the next one I tried was a cherry limeade. And then I think it was watermelon mint was the next one. And I remember thinking like, wow. And I said, hey, what's the deal with these seltzers? They said, well, we make them with real fruit. I said, oh, wow. Okay, that's good. You know, no artificial nothing. And I said, these are really good. I said, I'd like to take some home. That's kind of how it all started. So after that, I've been rocking with them. That was almost 2 years ago. And then we actually did an official deal where I came on as a partner. And it's been lovely ever since.
That is so funny because here we are again. Alan Green just down for the new guy. Just like that's you are just constantly rooting for the underdog. And it's just amazing. I love that. Even down to who you're representing is the underdog. And that's so cool. You're amazing.
I think the underdog, I just wrote something in my phone that I only want to work with underdogs. I don't want to work with people that already think they're there.
I am the exact same way.
Work with people that don't have a chip on their shoulder.
Right.
Like, I feel like women should be way far advanced in the industry, but you know how it is. It just doesn't work that way. So since I've worked for women and worked with women, I see how it really is. And I'm like, yo, these are like the hardest working people around, right? But they have to do that because they're already an underdog. So
right.
They have harder. They have to do the little things. They have to sell merch here. So, they have to make up costs in all these different ways in order to even keep a band. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And in every industry, that it's the same all the way around. And once I realized that, I really became like, hey, if I meet a female artist, I was raised by women, so that's easy for me. Take care of the females in this industry because really and truly, men won't admit it. And somebody's gonna take this excerpt right here and they're gonna run with it. Women do it better.
Oh my God. Look at Alan go. I don't, I do it better. I do me. That's for darn sure. But it took me a long time to realize what I was doing was good. It was good enough. It may have even been better. I'm not going to go that high on my horse, but
women think differently than men do.
I was convinced. I just was convinced that I wasn't good enough.
Nah, not true.
I think not. But oh my goodness, the time it takes you to realize that is it's a little nutty. And even a good example is, we were just talking about the TCMAs and you winning Drummer of the Year. So in 2020, I was nominated for Personality of the Year and Radio Station of the Year. We won Radio Station of the Year as far as personality goes. And I have to look back and double check this information. But from what I was told, I was the first female ever nominated in that category, as well as the first woman PD. So as the first woman to even win that award. And this year at the 2022 awards, that same category, on-air personality, it was the first time that 3 women were ever nominated. And Malone won, so she is the first woman to have won that. That's a little crazy to me.
That is crazy. And that, I think that ties back into what you said about the underdogs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying women are better than men. I'm saying women are naturally underdogs.
Yes.
Which means they will do the little things and they will go harder because they already know it's already a disadvantage. So that's how I felt coming into the scene, coming from a scene where I was already established. Now I'm in a whole new world. And I play drums that way. I play drums like nobody knows. I play drums like nobody's ever heard me, because I always want to transfer the same energy that you're talking about, that the love, I believe, is in the way you do things. So I've always had people come up to me after shows and they're just like, wow, that was amazing. But they don't understand, like, I'm just transferring my energy to you and you're watching me. And when you're watching me and hearing me, you can actually feel that energy. I've had this happen with drummers that I look up to and realize, like, okay, these guys are playing their hearts out. They got the underdog in them. They got that dog in them.
And it's that heart. I believe you can do anything with love. I programmed an entire radio station just for the love of this music, this genre, and the people in it. Like, you can hear it in my interviews. I literally love the people that I talk to. I'm going to say 80% of the people I interview here on Maverick, I tell them I love them before I hang up with them. Like, these are people that are, they're my whole heart. And I believe you can do anything. Kindness, love, passion, heart. That's the driving key to any type of business, especially entertainment.
Love is universal. It should be that way at the forefront of everything. I think love first, and then you actually start caring about others and their well-being. Yeah.
100%. Well, Alan Green, 2G, you can look him up on any social media platform. Please find him. Find his music, whether you are wanting to discover the hip hop side of 2G. It is incredible. I personally am a huge fan. As a matter of fact, it resembles the type of hip hop that made me fall in love with hip hop. Probably, I'm going to say middle school, early 2000s. Like, it transforms you back into a time that you loved going to your school dances. So I love that you bring that out in your music. You can see him on the road, of course, with Mr. John Wolf or whoever he picks up a gig with.
I want to give a special shout out to my sons. They're in the living room. They actually did good. I told them, hey, you have to eat your breakfast, chill out a little bit, watch TV. My oldest son, Legend Alan Green, and my youngest son, Prince Alan Green, are my world. I want to give a shout out to my mom, my dad, for putting the sticks in my hand. My dad was a drummer up until I was 9, and he quit because I was better than him by the time.
Like that.
He tells that story. I've never actually told anybody that, but I'm going to say here, his humility allows him to tell that story. I took his church gig when I was 9 years old. I want to give a shout out to Mighty Swell. I want to give a shout out to everybody I've ever played with, first of all, especially Bree for giving me the opportunity to get into the scene. Josh Ward, John Wolf. A lot of people don't know I did a little stint with Josh Ward as a fill-in drummer, and I had a blast with his guys. Sam Riggs, you already know what it is with me, bro. We locked in. Yeah. Sam Riggs made me a rock star. Morgan Ashley, well, we see each other all the time. We write music together. We're locked in. And I already covered moms and pops. But my whole family, everybody that I'm connected to, Alan2G.com, ALAN number 2 letter G.com is where you can find all my tour dates, my social media, my Instagram's there. And it's just I am 2G official. Very simple. With the number 2 always. I am 2G. I'm all over the internet for now until I take my little break, but I'm out there. Come look me up.
Please find him. He's been an absolute dear friend of mine for many years here, ever since I moved to the area. So please show him some love, some support, and keep supporting Texas country. We love it. And thank you, Alan, for being one of our first interviews of 2023 on Maverick.
February 2023, okay? Y'all are here first to hear that.